Hello, jewelry class. This is Miss Gardner, and I'm going to show you how to make a bird's nest pendant using I have some coated copper, and it's very soft yet sturdy. This is a 20 gauge that you see that I'm holding. It's a silver coating on it. And then I have a few bird's nests that were made with different types of wires and sizes of beads. This florist wire I'm holding is the same type of wire that this red bird's nest was made out of, was florist wire also, so pretty soft. It's about a 24 gauge, which you notice is thinner or narrower than the 20 gauge I'm about to use right now, so you can see it a little better. This one I bought at an art fair that inspired me. These are stone beads, probably ranging from 2, 3 to maybe 6 millimeter beads. You know, those are beautiful natural stone. These are from a dollar store. I got some plastic pearl beads I thought were really nice, and they're 10 millimeters. You can tell the huge difference in that, and that's using really thick aluminum wire. So I'm going to start right now. I'm going to use some really nice glass beads that I found. I'm going to go ahead and thread all 3 of these beads on, trying to find a hole there. Ooh, that's tough to find it. There it is. One more. I have some really neat beads I found when I was kind of scavenging. They're wooden beads with speckles on it. Maybe that's something for later. Okay, and then once I have the beads threaded on, I'm just going to kind of bend it a little bit, bring it around, have a little tail left, you notice. It's kind of form a little triangle of beads there. And with this tail, I'm going to very tightly kind of just give it a twist. Okay, maybe a couple twists right there. And then I'm going to just go ahead and start kind of wrapping, just coming around my bird's nest. Oh, now I'm using just plain old straight wire here. I did that with my medium-sized red bird's nest. If you like that, that's just smooth straight wire. And this large clunkier one was also straight. But you may notice that this one has kinky wire. Okay, so that was probably just hand bent like this, just basically just kind of randomly bending the wire before you use it. Or you could use round nose pliers and kind of kink it up a little bit if you'd like to. There's another trick if you want to try to make it a little bit kinkier that we used to do a long time ago, and that's just wrapping wire around like a round pencil or rod, and then taking that out and pulling it, and you can see it makes the kinks like that. Okay, so whichever way you'd like to try it is fine. Now I'm going to go ahead and go back to where I was and just kind of wrapping. I'm just really just going around it. But I do have to kind of hold on to it. I'm really not stitching or doing anything to weave it. I'm just kind of getting it started. And once I go around a few times before it gets too out of control, I also turn it over and maybe give it a little bit of back to the bird's nest. And it doesn't have to be perfect, especially if you've kinked the wires. It's not going to be, but that just makes it more natural. See if I can get that to cover the back a little bit before I get too far along. Won't be super neat, but some of the best ones aren't. They're just kind of more random, like a real bird's nest would be. Okay, now got a little bit in the back, as you see, and I still have it surrounding. Now I'd better get to stitching this because now you notice I didn't kink this part, didn't get around to it. That's okay. You won't even notice, to be honest. Now I'm going to stitch, as in kind of weaving the tip around and back, kind of in between the beads. So that kind of helps get that connected. Turn it a little bit, and I'm going to go ahead so I can keep control of and shape it as I go, giving another stitch, kind of slipping that around. Twirling it back around, and I'm going to go ahead and give it another stitch. Now, there are quite a few different ways that you can go about doing this. This is not the only way. If you look up some tutorials on YouTube, you'll see there's all kinds of ways you can go about creating your bird's nest. There's not just one way to do it. I thought this was an easy way that I actually preferred. Get that a little tighter. Bring it around. Now, I could wrap more. This is a little loose, so I'm going to go ahead and give it another stitch. You just have to kind of use your judgment as to how often and where you want to kind of keep it bound. There we go. That helps keep it together. You just keep coming around. You might have to help a little bit. It gets a little funny kink in it. Bring it around. Now you can, anytime you want to, of course, you can grab some round nose pliers or needle nose pliers, and you can, of course, kind of manipulate and change the shape. You can also kind of push the beads in if you want them to nest in there a little bit more. I'm coming up from underneath this time. It doesn't really matter if I go from above or below. Just make that judgment. I'm going to kind of straighten the tip up a little bit so it'll sew a little bit easier, a little quicker, without getting boggled up so much. But I'm liking these blue beads against the silver wire. I think it's a nice, oops, I'm trying to hook this. There we go. Trying to catch that wire a little bit more. This is the first time I actually made one where I actually kinked the wire. I usually make them smooth. I like it both ways, to be honest. It does make it fight you a little bit more if it's kinked, but I think it's worth it if you like that more natural look. So you can always, your wire should be soft enough that you can kind of shape it as you go a little bit. Oh, now I forgot to tell you that I cut a length of wire that was 3 feet, but you can go shorter, like let's say 2.5 feet or so. It really depends on how much you want to build up the bird's nest or how much wire you have. Either way, it doesn't have to be as long as mine is. So you see that, I mean, even if I stopped right here, I have quite a bit of a nest going on here. I'm going to maybe come around just a little bit more. Okay. Sew through. Now there's different ways to make it into a pendant. Of course you can take a jump ring and find a spot later on to kind of hook it and be able to attach it to a pendant. Sometimes you have to maybe have a bail or a jump ring that's big enough to send a chain through. But another trick is, let's see, I'm finding a spot where I can anchor it, where it has like a little loop coming over. I think this is pretty good right here. I'm going to kind of just work in, you don't have to do it this way, but I'm going to work in an extra little loose loop, catching this little overhand slip stitch, and here's another one. Okay, let me pull it through, except this time I'll leave a little bit of extra right there. I don't know if you can tell I have a little extra there. I know it looks kind of big, but don't worry about that. And I could go ahead and bring it around some more. I purposely left that. I'll go ahead and show you what I'm going to do with that too. Okay, so I'm going to find my pliers. I'll just take some needle nose pliers here, and I'm going to take this and just kind of give it a twist like that. And you can see that I've already got the beginnings of a bail, or kind of like in place of a jump ring. You can still add a jump ring to that. I have enough that I can give it an extra little twist there. So I kind of double twisted it. Let me do a triple. Alright, get a little bit more secure. Alright, so that's just the way you kind of work one in. Now I didn't do that at the end. I did it while it was still kind of woven in so it's stronger. Because if I wait till the very end to do that, it might want to pull out. you know, with the loose end. Okay, about got it. I might as well use the rest of my wire, make it stronger, just add more nest to it. Pull it through here. And I've about got it used up. Yeah, see, remember I had like 3 feet? I could have went with 2.5 easily, because I think that I had plenty. Now definitely the kinked wire is a little bit tougher to get it through. I'm going to go to the back. Actually, I probably should have used a little bit on the back. Looking for spots to just kind of fill in since I have this extra wire. You don't want to ignore the back. If you have to, do what I'm doing here. Nothing wrong with that. Just get a tool if you have a needle nose. And I'm going to tuck this end in. Oops, sorry about that. Got out of the camera there. I was just kind of tucking in the ends. There you go. That's secure right there. Alright. So I can always take this. So there's like a little extra kink here. I can take it and give it a little twist and kink it a little more, which makes the wire a little bit shorter or like tighter. So you can go around any place you want to. And if you see a place that you think you need to rearrange or fill in or tighten up, you can use your pliers and just kind of manipulate it that way. Okay, and there you go. Now I have a silver bird's nest that has blue glass beads in it. Okay.